And now introducing a South Jersey production. Go! Let it know that 1, 2, 3 is on the microphone. I'm not running some junk that was a bad science project. This is a wicked machine built with skill, sweat, and blood. Johnny down the street thinks he has the heat, but when I key down the microphone, that sucker is gone. So get yourself together and do it right, otherwise you're not gonna get your name called tonight. So if you come across me across the band, you know I'm gonna wave a hand. I'll be screaming 1, 2, 3, South Jersey, working my ball box, 24 pound in my psycho zip driver. So if you wanna drop to the hammer, give me your best try and watch your transistor start smelling.
All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening?
They call me Danny 1, 2, 3, South Jersey. And now introducing.
Did a couple different things with this today. Pretty cool.
1, 2, 3 is on the microphone. I'm not running some junk that was a bad science project. This is a wicked machine built with skill, sweat, and blood. Johnny down the street thinks he has the heat, but when I key down,
What's going on, 9 Ball? How are you, man?
So get your stuff together and do it right. Otherwise, you're not gonna get your name called tonight. So if you come across me across the band, you know I'm gonna wave a hand. I'll be screaming 1, 2, 3, South Jersey.
All right, so here's what we have here. This is actually a raffle box for Ivan Ward at Black Cat Radio. This one here is going to be matched up or paired up with a Cobra 2000. I think I really can't lie to you and tell you who's doing the radio. But what's going on, Brad? How are you? All right, a little bit. So with that said, this is normally I'd have this matte black finish, and I was waiting for some vinyl to come in, so I did a gloss background on this one. South Jersey, it's a base box, 120 volts. There's a 120 mil fan in here, no fan in this little one here. On the back end of this, I have to put stickers on it, positive and negative, and that will allow you to hook up your driver, or not. If you don't choose to, you can't. You don't have to. So the regulated power supply in this one is set at like 14.8. So if you were to hook up a radio on here, as long as you're not drawing tons of amps, you'll be all right. If you were to try to run, well, you could actually hook up a Cobra 29 with this package, or 148. But again, this is going to be for a Cobra 2000 base unit. It's all plug-in-the-wall stuff. Really nice cord here on the wall. 6-foot cord. What's really cool about it is it unplugs from the back of the unit, so if you damage your cord, you can always replace it. You can get these cords almost anywhere, but this cord happens to be a 16 gauge cord. Yeah, there it is, right there. 16 gauge cord comes on this unit. You can get it from Walmart next door, ICA Manufacturing. But that said, let's just take a look at the little driver here real quick. And this has two little 1446s in here. Now, if the resistor I have here is your attenuation, and the factory or the stock one that we used all these years is a 4.7 ohm resistor. If you want to slow this amplifier down without turning the potentiometer all the way down, all you have to do is increase your resistance here. So you could go 5 ohms, you can go 10 ohms, you can go 12, 15, 20, 30, about up to 33 ohms, and she'll still work fine, but it's going to slow the amp down quite a bit. I wanted to take in, when I run this at full output with the Cobra 29 R&R, I literally have to make sure my radio is down around 12 volts or so, because I don't want to exceed a certain amount of power out of this unit, just for a simple fact is it's drawn on the same power supply as this one, but it's driving 4 standard 2879. So we don't want to take and get too far up over 18.75 watts per transistor, because we already know our ceiling, the lid, the top of it all, and that is at 20 watts per transistor. So that's filling it up all the way. So you have to look at your drive levels from these two transistors going to the 4 here. So whatever's happening out of here, you divide it up 4 times, and then that'll tell you the numbers of your transistors. So for a really quick example, we'll just pull out the calculator a little early here, and we're going to say we're going to run right around 70 watts of power coming out of this unit. Not 700, 70. So we're going to go 70 watts, and we're going to divide that by 4. So that tells me I'm going to be running approximately right around 17.5 watts per transistor. Now keep in mind, that's a calculator number. Now, if you have, and you will have, input reflection on this box coming back to this box. So what happens when you have input reflection? It takes away power. That's definitely not a thing that you want to happen. You don't want input reflection. So your coax length is really important, because coming in and out of this unit is all half wavelengths. I have coming a half wavelength from my radio down to this driver, and then from this driver I'm running another half wavelength. What is a half wavelength in layman's terms? Well, that would be 12 foot. All right, that's what everybody calls it, 12 foot. That's half wavelength. What's a quarter wavelength? That's 6 foot. Well, that's the layman's terms of it, because if you actually did the math and you said we're at 492, and then you times that by 0.66, that's the velocity factor now. All right, every coax cable has that velocity factor number, and 66 is the lowest on all of it all. All right, so if you get anything else different, you get if you get what is it, the LMR 400 or the 600 or the Heliax or a Teflon, those are all different numbers. Those are different families. Those numbers are always greater than what's here. So, simple fact and measurement, a 213 piece of coax is going to be the shortest out of every piece of coax you could pick on the planet. And just because you want to make it 3 foot or 2 foot or 4 foot and say it don't matter, shut this video off, because it really does matter. All right, now moving on, I have going back to 0.66. Now you divide that by your frequency. All right, and then you say we're going to run at 27.025, just for example. That means that coax comes up electrically on a calculator 12 foot 0.1 inch and a whole bunch of other little numbers. All right, so that will put you in the ballpark. But if you were to cut that, put ends on it, and actually hook it up to a rig expert analyzer, stub tune the coax or measure the tune on the coax, it would say that you're somewhere right around 25 megahertz, way down the spectrum. All right, now if you add a line section like I have right here, you're adding that much more to that coax. So if you're cutting coax and nulling it all out, and I'll say this again, going from here to here, if you nulled the piece of coax out and you didn't have this line section, it would be perfect, primo. All right, but if you add this line section, you just add it that much to your coax, and it's going to knock you way down frequency. So you can run these tests on your own with your rig expert, or however you stub tune your coax. I like my rig expert 55, and I guess they quit making those, and I have a new model, of course. So that said, put the little calculator aside. Now here's a little 1446 box once again. So like I was saying, if you wanted to slow a box down, it don't matter if it's mine or somebody else's, it's right here. This is in your attenuation resistor. I left this long for the video. I'll shorten it up before I send it out. But this is what controls the attenuation. So when this is wide open, it sees that resistor, but you start cutting this back, it all acts as a resistor, and it cuts your power back. And that's what we're going to show here in the video. Now I'm going to take and open the 4 up real quick, a little base box. And to the guy that gets this, or whoever gets this, remember the lid always goes over towards the right if you're facing the box. So there you go, 100 amp hour supply inside there, and a stud system. I put a nice stud system in here. That's all 8 gauge wire, and 8, yeah, I think that is 8. And then I'm going to 5/16 bolts to the back for the back end of this. So absolutely overkill for this little driver for sure. Hi, how are you? What are you doing, my snuffleupagus? Are you gonna wave to everybody, Molly? Molly, you gonna wave? Yeah, hey, how are you? Come here, you got a little something on you right here. You got a little popcorn. You don't want to eat that. No. You're a good girl, huh? Yeah? You gonna say hello? Molly? Yeah. We're gonna run this box. You know that, right? And then I'll get you a treat or something. Yeah? You just ate a little bit ago. 5 minutes ago, your belly was facing the ceiling, wasn't it? It was. Okay. Look, can I get over here and finish this up? Going in there? Yeah? Okay. Cool. All right. So here you go. A little tight, but it's a little right. 4 2879's in here. I went back to the 1-inch transformers because the inch and quarters really didn't make any difference in this unit. And so on the side, you see way down there in the very, very bottom, there's a little air blocker. So that air blocker allows all the air comes across the heatsink and then out that smaller hole, which works out well. I have a 120 millimeter fan in this huge cabinet, and it cycles the air and it pumps out and it goes through the heatsink and then out the back door it goes. So I speckled this one just because it's kind of a raffle box. I think I'm just going to do that for the raffle ones. Do a little speckle on them. The Psycho zip line, normally it's kind of reserved for that, but I think I'll do a little of this and a little of that for this stuff. So let's take and get this thing started. All right. Right back. All right, let's light this stuff up. Turn a few things on here. No amp clamp down here. All right, so I am gonna start off with the Cobra 2000, and we're gonna go over that, or not Cobra 2000, the Cobra 148, which is identical. Cobra 2000 is the same board as the 148. It just has a power supply in it and a beautiful cabinet. So we're gonna run this 148. It does pretty well. It's not a super fired up radio on AM. It does great on sideband. It's kind of soft on AM. So then when we get done and we'll run AM on that one and sideband, we'll move over here to Dustin R&R and I'll control it. I'll control my voltage on it quite a bit. So that said, let's just take a look at this little driver. I have to turn on this power supply to get that to work. There we go, she's lit up. Let me take and get a couple volts on this here radio. About where it was tuned at. And let's see what we have here. All right, so we're gonna take and monitor a 25 watt input reflection slug. That's gonna go back to the little driver. Then a 250 watt slug showing the input wattage of the driver into the 4. Now over on this side of it, we're gonna look at 2500 watt on the digital Dave. Then we'll look at 1000 and the 2500 watt on the analog and analog peak. All right, let's take and see what this little driver's got going on with it. And we are on AM, 250 watt slug. Each line is 5 watts. So 55, 55, 555, aka Jack in the sand pile. Audio, 1, 2, 3, 4, audio, hello. So free running, I'm running right around 70 and 75 watts. A little, you know how you have to make it across the input bridge, and some builders really say, wow, look at it, it ain't even moving. Great, you did a lot of work. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 audio. Mine does that too. All right, so here's a 1000 watt slug on the same little guy, and each line is 20 watts. Bottom scale, audio, 1, 2, audio. So you notice that's showing me more around 80 or so. Audio, and I'm under 75 there. That's just the difference between where I'm reading the slug, mid scale, half scale, etc. So we talked about that in the last video. Now, if I went over and said I'm going to back this potentiometer down all the way, not worried about dead key, but let's just see what the power is doing here. Audio. So I dropped way down. I'm around 18 watts or so. Let's see if this even picks it up on RMS. Audio. Yeah, barely. It won't even hardly pick it up. See what it does on the peak. Peaker. Showing me like 75. So that's backed all the way down, and we'll turn it all the way up. We'll go back over to the digital just to give you guys a little easier way to looking at things. Audio. So it's showing me 100 watts there. All right, but it's not 100 here. Audio. So it just falls down to the difference of the slugs, and here's your peaker. All right, so 225 wide open. It's 2 1446s. They should be right in that right area or so with this radio that I'm driving into it. All right, so let's run this all the way down at AM. I'm gonna have much for a carrier here. Here's a little something. Let's see my drive. Audio. 20 watts or so. Here's 1000 watt slug. Audio, 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 audio. Sounds like 240 watts. My peak, what's going on with it? Peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. I'm still doing 800, 825. Now, that don't add up because a lot of guys like taking and showing just peak all the time. And are they really pulling the shirt up over you guys' head and saying, ha, I got them because this box ain't doing diddly squat on RMS? Well, that's the filler. That's where we can fill that in. Maybe they're scared to show theirs. I'm not sure. But we'll take a look at mine, which is a little 148, and it's still all the way down to minimum. Look at the 2500 real quick for kicks. Audio, audio, 1, 2, audio, 1, 2, audio, 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 audio. So like 250 or so, 300. Now, if I went to sideband, because it's all the way down, I may as well go ahead and do it. All this RMS meters, they're not doing anything for me at this point. They don't. Because look what the driver's going to do. Audio, 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 and that's backed all the way down. It's like this, our average meter turned into an average peak meter now, okay? Audio sideband, audio, 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 audio. So it's like showing me like 45 watts peak. But if I were to take and look at it here on peak, is it going to show me that audio? It's still saying 75 on that because it's the wrong slot. But if I go up here to 1000, is it still going to show me that peak? No, it's not. Audio, 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 audio. It's showing me 500 watts average peak. But my actual peak, I'll show you up here on this analog. Audio, 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 2500 watts log, audio, audio, audio. So that's top scale, hanging out right around 750, 800. What do we do on the digital? Audio, 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 audio. All right, 825. But if I was in RMS on the digital, audio, 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 audio. You see the big difference there? It's almost double. Audio, true peak, true peak, true peak. Not true peak, not true peak. Audio, audio, audio. So, kind of get my point. That sideband, it was a really nice test for it. Here's the deal. Sideband, if you're going to run this driver, I highly suggest you just leave it all the way down. You go up any, you go up to here, not quite half, so right in that area, and you go to sideband, you see where you're at now. Audio, 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 audio. 900. Was it worth all that extra power to pick up 75 watts? Not really. Let's squeeze it down a bit here. Audio, 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 audio. So if you keep them right around 800 watts, that means it's getting 200 watts. 2, 4, 6, 8. 200 watts of pill. Each transistor. This is at 14.8 volts. So if you think about that, they say, oh, these transistors are 100 watts. Well, we know we can take and stretch them way out of bounds. But the more you stretch it, the thinner they get, and then they break. So, try to keep that in your minds. All right, so we'll go wide open, go back over to AM. Now we're back to a mud ducky radio, doing about as best it can on AM. And carrier bit. Okay. See my drive now. I'm wide open. Audio, 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 audio. That's like 65 watts. Here's my inputs. Audio, 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 audio. A little over half watt. And then, here's RMS. Audio, 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 audio. Like 380, 360. That radio really don't hit. When I hook up to other radio, you'll see it really punches AM because it's more of an AM radio. Audio, 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 audio. Now that is a 2500 scale. Each line's 50 watts, top scale. Audio, 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 audio. That still like 3, 3 1/4. So what happens to the peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker moment? Audio, audio, audio. Hanging out right at that 1000. Let's see, audio 1, 2, audio 1, 2. So hanging out right at that 1000 watts. Now, obviously this 148 is not my choice to say I'm going to talk and broadcast on AM and I'm going to use the sideband in an AM radio. I use an AM radio for AM. Sideband, if I were to pick, yeah, I would probably use the 148. Just because they work really, really well on sideband. And they do work well on AM as well. The difference amount of power you're going to absolutely lose between these two radios is not going to make a hill of beans in DX. It really won't. Your peaks are up there. All right, everybody likes to talk about peak. I'll talk about it a little bit. Your peaks are up there, but your RMS can be filled up a bit. Well, this radio can't fill it up anymore. Obviously, the amplifier was wide open. I can't get any more out of that. So I can just put a better performing radio in line. So let's take and do that. Let's take and bypass this one and hook up the R&R Cobra 29. This one off. Switch the microphones around. Alright. Absolutely love this stuff. Alright, here we go. So I'll have to start this to here. I said I wanted to control this. Well, before I do control this, I'll turn this up. I just want to show you what this radio can make this amp do. This amp really, and it's, remember, it's going through the bridge over there. Alright, so here's the driver. Audio, let me turn things on, huh? Alright. 250 watt slug. This is two 1446s with a really good radio running at proper voltage. Audio, 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 audio. Absolutely slam dunking. 105 watts. Two 1446s, the smallest transistor in all of the fleet. They get up and boogie, all right? But don't really need all that. So let's take and say, I don't want that 110 watts. Let's retard my radio a little bit with some voltage, all right? Let's just slow it way down. All right, here we go. Audio, 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 80 watts on a free ball and audio 1-2. So I'm hanging out right around 80 watts. And that's with the radio all the way down. So I can't really control it too much more than that. But this just goes to show you how these little guys get up and go. Now let's look at this real quick. Here's your peak again. Peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. All right, so we picked up 25 watts according to that on the peak. So the 148 really peaks out really well on AM and sideband. But as far as the Cobra 29, it's just that little bit of edge better because I actually had that radio at 148 a little higher voltage. All right, so let me set a carrier real quick. Nah, a little bit down, a little bit more. Turn it up close. All right, so that's working, no dead key again. I'm just gonna modulate. Driver's turned all the way down. Audio, 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 audio. So same 35, 40 watts. What's gonna happen here? Audio, 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 audio. So that's a 1,000 watt slug. So that's 1,200 watts. Audio, audio. Not even. So we're hanging out with my input drive level doing times 10 at this point. What happens here? The peak? Audio, audio, audio. 850, 900 watts. And that's turned all the way down. But the RMS suffers. Audio, audio, audio. 200. Alright, so I'll turn it up. Go about halfway or so. You know what? Let's just do it. You guys been waiting long enough for this. Alright, here we go. Audio, audio, audio. There's 75 watts. So, slide over here right quick. 75 divided at 4. 18.75 watts. That's a really good target number to be talking on. Alright, here we go. Input, 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 input. About 2 watts. Audio 1,000, audio, 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 audio. So 440, 430, somewhere in there. Peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. 1,000, flicker, my light's low. Audio, 120 volts, audio, audio. 400 watts RMS there, and peaker, tweaker, tweaker all day. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4, audio. I'm hanging out right at that 1,000 watt mark. What's going on, Adam? How are you? Good evening to you. So at the end of it all, again, this box set is for Ivan Ward, Black Cat Radio. He's going to match this up with a Cobra 2000. Match this up with a Cobra 2000, and that would be a nice little matchup. So anyway, you cut it, guys. And remember, I'm doing these videos for free. I really enjoy taking the time. It gives me time to, when I build, give me time to think about a little bit what I want to talk to you guys about. But a lot of times I just kind of freeball it. But when you take in and you look at what Ivan's done, and he's tied in with Chuck Bunner and Truck CB Sales and probably a few other guys, and including myself, he's doing a really good thing for you guys. And I go in some of those raffles just because I want to support what he's doing no differently, and he's supporting what I'm doing. So we're at the end. This community is coming together, and somebody's getting some really nice equipment on a raffle, on a $20 gamble. And you guys can go and scratch offs and do all kinds of different things. This is a hobby. This is something that we do, and he's just spreading the love, I believe, putting together some really good packages and getting some really good people involved in what he's doing. So again, I support him 110%, and I really think that you guys should jump on board if you haven't did it yet. It's Ivan Ward at Black Cat Radio, Black Cat CB Radio. So you can look him up on Facebook. So what do you think, Molly? We got it all taken care of? Yeah? You think so? Come on out here. Let's see what we got. We got something for you? Come here. Come on, let's talk about it. You gonna sit? You gonna sit pretty, huh? You gonna sit pretty? Yeah, you're waving? Huh? Yeah, you're doing the wave? Yeah, you want some of this? You want this? What are you gonna take it nice and easy, huh? Yeah, you're a good girl. So, did you see the Easter Bunny the other day? No, you didn't catch him, did you? You almost caught the kitty. You almost caught a bird. Yeah, he was sitting. The bird was in the ground trying to get some worms, and you interrupted his dinner. You didn't care. You just wanted to get him. He was in your yard. Yeah, you're a good girl, aren't you? So what do you think? We got some other things we have to do. What's coming up next? We got 2x8. Yeah. And then we got a special one. We got a Zippy 16 coming up. Yep. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be black and green. Oh, that's bad, isn't it? Yeah, it is. All right. Well, there you go. Molly says that's it, I think. You ready to go get the kitty now? Huh? You ready? Here, you get that. All right. Hey, you sit. You gonna wave bye-bye to everybody, Molly? You're still chewing. You can do this too? Yeah, see, you do two things at once. You gonna wave? Hey. All right, sit pretty, and we're out of here. All right, sit pretty. I'll give you the big one. You want the big one? Sit pretty. Oh, you're like a jack in a box. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for watching, and definitely keep your eyes open. I got some pretty cool builds coming up. This one here, you guys all seen it a few times. They all kind of come out the same, but this is the first time I did it with 1446s. And again, you can control your attenuation here. So if the guy that gets this and he feels that it's too much, easy enough. I might actually send a resistor with it. So it's only 2 joints. It's one up here and one right here. Easy, easy peasy. Nothing can fall apart. So there you have it. All right, guys, take care. God bless. Thanks for watching. It's another raffle. I'm out of here.